I'm Roger Montgomery and welcome to this week's Video Insight. Well, a bit of a change of pace today. Depending on how you read the stats, the property market is either going very well or not going very well at all. As you can see on this first chart, the Australian Bureau of Statistics figures released in the last week or so reveal new home lending fell 3.9% in January from December, contrasting with analysts' expectations for an increase and suggesting the screws are sufficiently tight to put a lid on house price gains this year. Those ABS stats revealed that the value of new home loan commitments fell to $25.1 billion from $26.1 billion in December. This was the second consecutive monthly contraction amongst first-time home buyers, older owner-occupiers and even investors. New home lending obviously leads purchases and turnover. A drop in lending today means a fall in buyers' activity or buying activity later. But not everyone is feeling down. Certainly not real estate agents. When are they ever feeling down? They're promoting a different picture revealed by the very same ABS data release. Looking at December rather than January ABS data, they note lending to property investors reached a 6-year high as a share of total home lending. And they're crowing about it. According to the ABS, 36% of all housing finance in December went to investors. And this is the highest level since 2017 and way up from the circa 23% share held in the COVID slump of 2020. While some real estate agents believe we're off to the races again, including one Sydney Lower North Shore agent who told clients, quote, "It's game on, folks," unquote, the reality is that while investor share is back up to 36%, it was more than 40% in early 2017 and over 45% in 2015. The fact remains that while the share of investor loans has increased, the pie itself is shrinking. The ABS's most recent data reveals both total loan volumes and values both declined. New loan commitments to property investors fell 2.6% from December to $9.2 billion. And over the 12 months to January, the $105.2 billion in new loan commitments to investor buyers was down 8.1% from the same period a year earlier. Typically, this should result in the brakes being put on house price increases. Remember, the single biggest driver of property prices is simply access to credit. If fewer people are accessing credit, prices tend not to soar. As can be seen in this chart from PropTrack, which by the way is not tracking house prices but rather the rate of change of house prices over time, house prices are still rising on an annual basis, but with the exception of Canberra and Adelaide, the pace of increase has steadied or is in fact declining slightly. This also happens to be consistent with recent transaction volume and auction clearance data. It's simply the case that the slower rates of home price increases reflect the restrained mortgage activity trends. It's however also the case that investors are now driving a larger share of lending activity, and that might have something to do with all of those tight rental market stories we've been hearing about. Sharp rental increases reported by tenants through the media will certainly be influencing buyers to invest and attract them into the market. Meanwhile, according to CoreLogic, residential vendors averaged $310,000 in gross profits during the December quarter, and this was 6.9% higher than the previous 3 months. It seems to me we've entered a bit of a holding pattern. Property owners and investors will be looking forward to interest rate cuts, which unfortunately could push house prices even further out of reach for many. That's all we've got time for today. We look forward to talking to you again in a week. And in the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and X.